Hello Internet, this is BoneCarlos coming to you live from Whirlwind Ladder Edition. This time we're going to bring you something a little bit special, and I say we normally because I am with Nov17, but unfortunately he has abandoned me. Yeah, I feel kind of abandoned because he has abandoned me. But anyways, today's players are going to be none other than a Korean name that I cannot say because I cannot read Korean, South Korean or Northern otherwise, but let's just go ahead and call him the Happy Red Protoss. His opponent is going to be Cellardoor spawning as the Blue Zerg. This is, like I said, on the Korean server and Masters level play no less, so I will do my very best to try to keep up with all the crazy shenanigans that goes on when you accompany that sort of high level play. I already see 4 pylon fast expand more than likely coming out of our Protoss player. Generally you see a forge being slapped down and then creating a wall off with your gateway and a cannon and something or other along those lines, but do not be surprised if we see a gateway come down instead. More than likely, or maybe over here, more than likely to pump out a couple of zealot or two to some early harass into a 4 or 5 gate zealot heavy pressure. Depending on exactly what the Protoss player sees, but already we see a spawning pool at around 14. More than likely going to see a hatchery spawning, being morphed on around the same time, and already the Protoss player is going to go ahead and dance around that natural expansion just to delay that as much as possible. Very standard play coming out of both of these players. We see the Protoss player gonna go ahead and go Nexus first. He does feel very safe, even though he is spawning close proximity by ground. 2 drones are gonna go ahead and try to shoo away this probe. This probe is forced to retreat. But with the spawning pool being put down, no extractor just yet, no extractor put down at all actually, so I doubt we're going to see more than let's say 2, maybe even 4 Zerglings, mainly for map presence, map awareness. Nothing too crazy since Zergling speed is so essential, especially early game. We see 17 out of 17, so that pylon is going to pop as soon as that 18th probe gonna go ahead and shoo on out, so no supply blockage coming out of the Masters level play. Gateway being put down around the same time that that forge is finishing up. Looks like no Vespin guys have been taken, while at the same time these probes are still going to, oh, poor little guy. Like I said, 4 Zerglings more than likely going to set up a perimeter around the front of the Protoss player's base. Already we see Owa, or Team Owa, knows that these Zerglings are coming, so he's willing this gateway to warp in fast. He's probably going to put that on a Salmon score, finish up that wall off, pop out a single zealot, and is going to go ahead and back it up, and possibly with a quick mothership core, since 2 assemblers have already been put down. So very standard play. Hopefully I get to see some early zealot stalker combo with a mothership core, just to begin the harassment against this Zerg player, just to force him to use up those larvae into Zerglings instead of the drones that Zerg player really wants to do early game, especially up against a Forge fast expanding Protoss. And again, here goes Cellardoor going straight for that 3rd. He just wants to see the timing of this go down to know if an early attack is coming or not. He's going to see this hatchery, going to feel very safe, and more than likely cut down on building any sort of gateway, maybe go straight into his tech. If he is going to go ahead and go tech heavy, haven't seen any simulators put down on his natural expansion just yet, but that timing is generally around that same, generally nothing too crazy. If we were seeing something tech heavy, we would already see those assemblers being put down, but we see a drone transfer being put down. Looks like a queen here, queen there, and a queen at the 3rd, so heavy larva production. It looks like maybe, yep, that 2nd probe did manage to go down. We don't see him under the mothership core. There it is. There's that mothership core. So Stalker, Zealot, mothership core, very, very standard. Now the only divergence from this play depends on whether it's going to go into robo play or heavy gate, which is generally along the lines of you're gonna need to take both of these Vespin geysers anyway. Here comes that little bit of a move out. And now Cellardoor is going to go ahead and retreat, knowing that that front is going to be bashed away quite easily by those that Stalker Zealot combo. Where is that mothership core? Where did it hurry on to? Yep, it's going to go ahead and follow this this initial push, take that watchtower. So very standard play out of both these guys. Now, as I was saying, the only question from the Protoss player is going to go if he's going to go a Robo Bay down that robotics tech path, or if he's going to go a High Templar, Dark Templar mix, maybe go into some Chargeable Archon. I expect to see expect him to decide which one to go depending on what he sees over at the third. Maybe he could glean something based on the assimilators or the extractors that are put down at the third. Seeing as how 1, 2, 3, actually only 2 extractors have been taken by cellardoor, so interesting little bit of a choice there. 10 drones, he's still continuing to drone up, still continuing to do so, and looking at the income tab, we see 61 harvesters. I expect another wave of drones to be coming out of cellardoor. 2 stalkers, time warp on these Zergling Bacillus surround does manage to happen. But actually very nice play by the Protoss player. Slowed down those Zerglings quite a bit to be able to get those pot shots with those stalkers. Now there's just a pure queen for the defense. That's not enough. He's going to be forced to pull off maybe drones for defense. Zerglings have got 4 more Zerglings in production, but once those shields recharge on those stalkers, I do believe cellardoor will be able to hold with these reinforcements. And a nice little bit of harassment. We see a single stalker taking out that scouting overlord, looking at the field of vision for cellardoor. He didn't really gleam much yet. He knew the timing of those extractors, which is pretty much a given when you're going up against a Protoss opponent. And 2 Stargates. Oh, look at that. This is going to be interesting. Hopefully, I was obviously wrong about those the tech path that Team Owa decided to go down. Now we're going to see some Stargate. So, and taking a third at the same time, great decision making by him. Attack at the same time, expand, very much a staple of the StarCraft realm, world, or galaxy, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, we see a Hydralisk Den already being researched. We see those groove spines give those Hydralisks a +1 range with double extractor at the main, double extractor at the third as well. Oh, this is going to be hard pressed for Owa to actually break through, especially considering that he only has those 4 gateways, 2 Stargates, until he gets this third up and running. That will pretty much be the max end of his production value up until he gets those 3, because having, you know, 4, 6, 7 unit producing structures only off of 2 bases, pretty much at the upper limits of those workers. But with the 4th base just about finished up for cellardoor, he's going to have plenty of larvae, plenty of resources, especially now that he has those 67 harvesters to use whenever he so chooses. Looks like +1 attack being already done, +1 weapons for those void rays being researched as well. With that prismatic alignment ability, it's going to be very interesting what happens in this fight. Right now, all cellardoor really has in his advantage, or in his looks like he decides to cancel that spire, goes straight for that infestation pit. He saw those void rays being produced. He saw those 2 void rays, 4 void rays actually come and give chase. He pretty much gleaned that he knew there was 2 Stargates, and having a Spire there really not going to be the best choice, especially if you're going to be able to chrono boost out 2 Phoenixes at a time. Not the greatest example of our unit composition that you want. Infestors are a great unit, even though their fungal growths have been changed from an instacast to a projectile. If you're able to just group together this huge clump of void rays and ground units that the Protoss player has at his disposal, it will be huge. Right now he's having a great time. He's splitting off his Owa's decision-making abilities by just attacking at the front and then pushing where the army is not great. He's going to push forward, not overcommit, not overexert himself. Going to pick off that cybernetic core. Now Team Owa can only warp in zealots for the time being until that second cybernetic core can be produced. Already a premature planetary nexus, photonic overcharge being used at that third, and now Cellador, all Cellador has to do is just get himself a nice contain. He's waiting for these pathogen glands for his infestors, none yet being researched at on, none yet being morphed in quite yet, but once that has hit about 50%, I would expect to see him queue up infestors, so that way they pop out around the same time that pathogen glands, so those infestors have that plus 50 starting energy right off the bat. Looks like prismatic alignment is going to go down. No roaches on the field, so it's going to be Zergling, Hydralisk until those infestors come in, and now we're going to see a nice little bit of a surround. Those sentries are just using up as much energy as possible, and exactly what Cellador wants. He manages to pick off the units here and there, gets into the mineral line of the third base of Team Oa, and with his Hydralisk, he can go ahead and full-on retreat, and with so many Void Rays, a good couple of fungal growths by Cellador, and it could just spell insta GG. Right now, only 2 infestors are being produced. 19 roaches are on the way on the field. Looking at the units count tab, yeah, no other infestors were built during that little bit of exchange here at Team Oa's third base. Looks like still pure Void Ray cybernetic score already finished up. 4 more infestors, a single robotic facility. I don't expect anything too crazy coming out of here. More than likely a couple of observers here in case he so needs, just to see the different attack paths that Cellador can choose. And now Team Oa still has no idea about this fourth. He knows about the third. He knows about everything that's going on except for that fourth, and that can be very detrimental, especially if he decides to go back and forth with his Zerg opponent. He's checking to see if this fourth has been taken. Nope, the fourth is somewhere else. His probe is going to go ahead and peek forward. It's going to get immediately taken out by those groove spine of the Hydralisks. And now it's just really a cat and mouse game, trying to get into positioning that he wants. Robotics Bay being put down, not a bad choice with those Colossi, since they will churn through that light Hydralisk armor. And really just burns them up no problem. And with the Voiders being able to take out those roaches, it's going to come down to these infestors. That's going to be the difference maker. If he could land a couple of good fungal growths, and here's one. There might have been 2. It looks like the infestors are just going to go ahead and get creamed immediately by those prismatic aligned Void Rays. Nice couple of force fields, going to cut off a couple of those retreating Hydralisks. But those infestors didn't do the damage necessary that he really needed to secure himself a nice little victory. Charge Loss are going to go ahead and give chase finally on that creep. The Zerg forces are going to make a hasty retreat. Nice little bit of a creep tumor spread there. And again, Team Oa decides to retreat back into his safety of his third base. And this could be a little bit dangerous. The longer he continues, the longer it's going to go in the favor of Zerg opponent, especially since his mineral fields are quite low, and at the same time, Cellador took his 5th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Zerg hatcheries. Yeah, that was a little bit forced, but I am a-okay with that. And at the same time, Team Oa, it looks like he's gonna decide to take his own 4th, but with this Zergling here, it's going to go ahead and nibble away. He's going to go and know exactly when this go down, and I expect to see a small contingent of Zerg packs is going to go ahead and just harass this Nexus, while at the same time keeping the main forces of Team Oa busy. 197 supply, 192. It looks like a nice little bit of a split off. Here we go. Fungal growths aren't going to catch much. Perfect force fields. Nice engagement by Team Oa. Cuts the entire army in half, but the fungal growths are finally in effect. A couple of chains do manage to lock down those warriors and finally do some kind of neat little bit of a hole damage, and those retreating Hydralisks are cut off by those force fields. And again, Cellador just retreats, remaxes out with 54 Zerglings, 22 Hydralisks. Aspire is just about to get done, and the single Zergling another force a little bit of sound effects, and this Zergling is just going to go ahead and keep chipping away. It looks like Team Oa does not care whatsoever that that's happening. And look at that, observers, double observer, so double robotics bay, double Stargate, 4, 7, 8, 9 warp gates, and look at this nice little bit of surround on these pylons. No forward pylons for you, Team Oa. Nice bit of force field, but without those nice choke points that he had earlier, they're just going to go ahead and scurry on around it. And again, Cellador 177. This is pure. Oh, that poor queen. Oh man. Again, Cellador remaxes that one on 9 roaches being built. Macro hatch, great, good stuff. And here comes this nice little push by Team Oa. Fungo Gross locks down most of this army. Another chain, nice, gets another nice lock on most of these enemies, but that prismatic alignment is just too strong, too good. These Colossi are trying to do as much damage as possible to the Hydralisks from afar, but now a nice reinforcement wave of Stalkers gonna force another retreat by Cellardoor, and he's gonna go ahead and push on straight on back to his third, or his natural expansion. Roaches are going to go ahead and pick away at these Stalkers, and these Hydralisks are just being torn up by these Colossi. 23 kills on one, 8 on the other, and I do believe the third had a dozen kills. Finally, all these, well, almost all the Void Rays, well, a single one was left alive. Roaches are going to go ahead and dance back and forth in front of the armies of the Zerg forces. 12 Hydralisks in production, 18 Roaches just popped, but it looks like that both players still have plenty of resources left available to them to just be able to attack willy-nilly back and forth. Hydralisks are might be able to pick up this final Colossi, and it does go down now. Hydralisks versus Gateway units. Hydralisks always win in equal numbers, but right now equal numbers, he does not have this. Zergling is still nipping away at this Nexus. It might actually manage to bring it down, and it looks like Pure Stalker is going to go ahead and push forward into the natural expansion, but 32 Zerglings are going to make short work of it alongside with this Hydralisk. Count checking back in on this Zergling. You can do it, buddy. Oh my god. As a Protoss player, I hate this, but as a rooter for the underdog, I love it. And a single Zergling bringing down a Nexus. What's the cost differential on that? Oh, jeez. Oh my god. Oh. Ah. No! Oh, a hero Zergling does manage to bring it down. Oh. It's plus 375, plus 425 minerals to this Zergling's aim since he did. Or actually, he has 2 kills, so plus something, at least 425, at least 475, since if he did manage to kill 2 probes. And now Cellardoor does have the advantage. He's going to go ahead and start attacking bases left and right. The main base, yep, predictably mined out. Natural expansion almost following suit. All that's left is this third base, and it was just a huge mistake that Team Oa managed to do by just leaving the Zergling there, just a single Zergling, bringing down an entire Nexus while it was being built. And this just gives Cellardoor the time to just remax out, just outmine his opponent, because currently Income tab shows almost double in the minerals, plus 400 in the Vespin gas mining, while at the same time the gases, or the base is added on a 6th base. And now finally it looks like Team Oa knows the predicament he's in, since he's just caught that 4th mineral field depleted, being shouted off in the background, and he knows now about the 5th. He does manage to get perfect force fields off to block off any sort of hope at saving this 4th base, or the 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th base, but that's a-okay. He has his 6th. He did manage to lose quite a bit of workers. Actually, the worker kill count is finally evened up. I guess all that constant harassment at this third took its toll on the Protoss player, and now Zerg can just sit back, continually macro up, get the upgrades that he wants with Ultralisks. Oh, I spell disaster. I spell disaster for the Protoss player, especially since his armor value is negative 49 compared to Cellardoor. Well, actually a nice little bit, another little bit of a warping and a loss of, I would say, maybe it looks like an observer or 2. And now he's going to actually take the forward positioning of this base. Really the only option left to him, really, aside from taking this expansion yet again. But then again, he runs the risk of losing it to a single Zergling. And doing that twice in one game, you just really can't do that, especially at this level. Overseer gonna go ahead and scout off for observers, and here comes another nice little attack as I go crazy with my mouse. Nice engagement by Oa, getting himself a nice little bit of a choke point. This Ultralisk does manage to go down. Both do manage to fall. One more left alive, and looks like Cellardoor decides just to retreat. Did the damage he wanted with the Zerglings and Ultralisk. A single Colossi left alive with 32 whole, and a single Immortal there to shoo off those Ultralisks, but that's a-okay. Again, Cellardoor can sit back, wait to remax out, wait to get enough minerals out of his, really out of his drones to remax out, and just keep throwing waves of units at Oa. As long as he doesn't let this sit here for too long. He did have it for, actually no, he didn't have it. He had this one, so it might do him a little bit of a favor to actually just push forward and scout around to make sure nothing like that is crazy happening. And I love what Oa is doing right now, sending small units of zealots, a small zealot hit squad to take out, attack at the extremities of his opponent's base, keep his opponent off guard, force him to stay back home while he gets the bases and necessary units to just power through his opponent. This is what you got to do when you feel like you're playing from behind. Do drops, do multi-pronged attacks, do whatever you can do to just scrape yourself in back into the lead. And now with that drop here, taking out this 7th base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th base, and with his push forward, gonna destroy the 5th base. And now all of a sudden it starts looking like the economy is back on even footing, since the 3rd is mined out, natural, almost mined out, main base definitely mined out. You looks like Team Oa, Protoss, has his 3rd, while at the same time he expanded to a 4th with High Templar there. No, Psionic Storm about 50% done, but this could spell disaster. He decided to go back all the way back home, leaving his 3rd base completely defenseless. Ultralisk going to go ahead and take care of these buildings very, very quickly. Going to chew through all of these probes. That's something that you never want to lose as a Protoss player. Out of 3 races, really economically, you don't want to lose your workers as a Protoss player. If you're a Zerg player, really just spend a lot of larva on those drones. Terran has the power of the OP mule behind it. Really, in my opinion, even though as a Protoss player you have the chrono boost to be able to churn out probes left and right willy-nilly at 17 seconds per, still takes you 17 seconds, whereas a Terran can just call down a mule. And I know mule energy scan, but at this late stage of the game, you're gonna have some energy saved up. So there it is. That on that looks like plus level 3 weapons upgrade. So we're gonna have maxed out Ultralisk going. Oh, looks like probes are gonna get a little bit froggy, trying to do some damage up, but instantly rehealed. No, well, you tried, little probies. And here it comes. We're going to see massive psionic storms. There you go. Great storms, putting down on those fleshy allergists and just putting them down wherever possible, really, because that's all Team Oa really had at its disposal. These Immortals are going to do great damage on these Ultras. They're going to be able to one-shot this last remaining Ultra. Just burn it to death with your Stalker, or with your Colossi. Now, all that's left is for Team Oa to just counterattack, since really, it looks like another drop by the Protoss player, or actually a warp in from this proxy pylon, and another. Oh God, this is why I love Whirlwind. This game never ends. And again, this small hit squad of Zealot's going to be able to take down this hatchery. You're going to see another small hit squad here, and here. And like I was saying earlier, when you feel like you're behind, attack on multiple angles, force your opponent to make a decision, because more often than not, the decision is going to be in your favor no matter what decision is made. It looks like cellardoor's going to go ahead and try to defend his main base and natural expansion from this small squad of his leftover units, but at the same time he's going to leave the extremities just vulnerable and open for attack. A little bit of a decision, letting all of these units into the natural expansion. A couple of Archons are going to be able to pummel away at a lot of these roaches, but these roach hydras are just going to go ahead and go to town on these Immortals. One is down, one is left. Shields are done for the Archon. That is it. Pure Immortal gone. Just to over one. Poor High Templar, but again, another warp in of fresh Zealots, but I don't think this is going to be enough. Finally, it looks like cellardoor is trying to consolidate all of his forces. He doesn't have much of a bank, and looking at the income tab, we see again, now both of these players are even resources, so it's going to come down to whoever manages to micro the best. And looking at that little bit of engagement, come on now, 2 ranged type of units versus melee. Always just going around with his Zealots, making sure there's no other secret bases around the map. Nothing in production, really, because nothing can be produced from both of these players. 2 Immortals, seeing all those roaches, why not? Corruptors there, just flying around, make sure to give chase to these Zealots, saying, hey, you guys, they're right down here. Oh, saw the pincer effect of the Hydralisk and decided to just push on forward. And again, Like I said before, both players are just trying to micro as much as possible, keep the cost of units down. There goes one Zealot, and doesn't manage to kill that Hydralisk. But look at that transfer. Look at that influx of minerals. Yeah, well, the influx of minerals. There it is. We're finally going to see maybe some revamped production. Looking over at, use your idle worker tab, people. There you go. At the highest level of games, always use that. That's always a great thing. But it looks like cellardoor finally caught wind of this Nexus, and that's going to be the last mining base for Timo. He knows he's going to try to save as many probes as possible, but they're going to have to go through the gauntlet of Roach Hydra. Looks like not many are going to survive. Actually, quite a few. Looks like the Roaches are trying to cut them off at the 4 workers. 4 survived. Maybe. At the same time. Nice little bit of a Psionic Storm action. Immortals are going to push forward into the natural expansion, but really nothing there. Now the little Storm Knight forces the Hydralisk off the battleground. And here it goes. Zealots are just trying to separate themselves from, but once this main force of, actually, wow, these Immortals actually might cause some damage. If he holds this base right here, that ramp actually decides not to hold the ramp for quite some time. There's not enough energy on that high tempo to cause enough damage, but the overwhelming Roach numbers are going to head and take care of this Immortal. I was going to say, if he just took this ramp and held it, put the Zealots in the front, Immortals, Archons, he might have been able to hold off this small force. I know he was being sandwiched on both sides, but he decided to go for the juggler. It ended up backfiring on him, but that was a great game overall. Looking at the lost tab resources, around what you expect in a PVZ. Really, I can't spot anything too crazy going, too different. Anything too different going off between these two players, mainly because I'm just a lowly, what am I, gold now? I managed to get out of silver. Woohoo! So that was it for this replay. I hope you guys enjoyed. If not, leave comments down below on what I could do to make these more enjoyable for you. If you have one of your own replays you'd like for me to cast, upload them to one of the major replay sites. Drop.se is popular. GG Tracker is up there in skill level as well. That's it for me. I am out of here.